And so I was drawing my self-portrait, and in the pelvic area, I had drawn something that was round and gray and about the size of a golf ball. So I had either the fortune or misfortune to have diagnosed my own cancer through a visualization process. And if I had sat around and tried to figure it out, which I did at first, and I said, that's an embryo. That's a symbol of new birth, said my little controlling mind. But that isn't what it was at all. It was quite the reverse. It was my death that I better look at. So not knowing, only knowing enough about this process that I knew I could not dance it. I went into a total block. And knowing the process, I knew that it wasn't that I could not dance it. I knew that I would not dance it, that I was too frightened. Now I knew that only because I know the map of this process. So I went to the doctor. And I told him to examine me my colon. And he did. There it was, a malignant tumor. And so I had an operation. But then 3 years later, I had a recurrence. So I decided after 3 years of researching and seeing this wonderful work with the mind-body connection that I thought, well, I don't have anything to lose. I'm going to see if I can use this life art process with imagery on myself. So I did this portrait, which I'd hoped was going to be my healing, and I took a look at it and I thought, there's something wrong with that. I looked like about 18 years old, and I was, in my 50s at the time, and I thought, there's something wrong. So I turned the page around and I did another drawing. And you see, I was in denial, and my backside was my dark side. And I had to dance that. That was 1975. It's not like a dance that you do for an audience to entertain. And it's not a dance that is created to be beautiful or pretty. It's a very real experience. It wasn't even that I knew what the movements were going to be ahead of time, or that I had any idea what the outcome was. I just knew that this ritual required that I confront my dark side.
These are some of the drawings that I had to do. And then I was able to come back into the restoration and finally did this drawing. And I went into spontaneous remission. And I've been in spontaneous remission ever since, without chemotherapy, without an operation, just using the creative process and tapping into this incredible wisdom and this incredible dancer inside you.
I am a cancer survivor, and that was, it was like enlightenment at gunpoint. It's like, well, you know, you could die right now, or you could live. And it sort of made me reevaluate what dance would mean for me, because if you're a dancer, it's such a commitment you make. You have to believe in it. You have to have a passion for it. And so I'm thinking to myself, if I were to live, do I really want to dance anymore? It has to have a lot more meaning for me if I'm going to devote my time to this particular art form. And at that point, I think that up until I had cancer and had this challenge in my life, I think that I used my life for my art. I was very focused that way. And then after I had cancer, I said, you know what? I want to use my art to live my life. And so I reversed the whole process. And in reversing that process, it took me into developing new ways of looking at art and new ways of working with people.